Hey guys, and welcome to the pull list section of this week's Coffee and Hero Show. Obviously, as ever, I'm going to take you through everything that's on my pull list this week, as big as it is as always, and just give you a little bit of an insight into certainly the titles that I'm enjoying so much and the ones that I don't miss every week. So, good selection of titles this week, good mixture of DC, Marvel, and Indie. So, hopefully, I can't be accused of too much bias. I'm sure I will be anyway. But yeah, this is what's on my pull list this week. So, first up, we have Batman Reptilian Book 3. Look at that cover, absolutely glorious. That was the first out of the box that we pulled today. There was one right side facing up and the other one was facing down. Just was this great image. So really loving this series so far. Gareth Ennis writing, Liam Sharp on art. So bring on more of that. Sticking with Gotham, we have Batman Superman. So this is issue 21. This is actually the second last issue of the title. It's going to end at 22, which is a real shame. I've been enjoying Batman Superman. I know it's not been for everybody's tastes, but it's written by Gene Luen Yang and art by Ivan Rice, which has been stellar the whole way through. I'm really enjoying Checkmate at the moment. So this is the extension of the Event Leviathan storyline that Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev have been doing. And we're up to part 3 of this now. Really enjoying the fact Oliver Queen's a main person in this. This is linking into the Justice League run a little bit as well. And I'm really loving seeing a little bit of a showcase for Oliver. Next up, we have a title that I described to someone today as not enough people are reading, and that's Mr. Miracle, The Source of Freedom. This is issue 4 of 6-issue miniseries. It's Scott Easton writing and Fico Ossio on art, and just a very different take to the Mr. Miracle stuff that certainly Tom King and Mitch Gerads excelled so much at. Next up, another Bat-related title, aren't they all? We're on to Robin, issue 5. So Joshua Williamson writing, Gleb Melnikov back on art. It was Jorge Corona for the last issue. A little bit of a fill-in artist, but one of my favourite artists, Jorge Corona, did Middle West. Currently doing the Me Love in the Dark with Scotty Young as well. But Gleb Melnikov, who was the original artist, back on board with that as well. You know, obviously there's been news recently about Tinian bringing to a close his Batman run. If I could pick who would take over next, it'd be Joshua Williamson. Definitely one of my most anticipated titles of the week because issue 1 was just so bloody good. We have Superman, Son of Kal-El. So we're up to issue 2 of this. Tom Taylor, of course, on writing duties, John Timms on art. And issue 1 was just an absolute triumph. And I'm really looking forward to digging into issue 2. Next up to close out DC, well, second last DC title, but the other one's bigger, is Wonder Woman Black and Gold. So we're up to issue 3 of this. This is the anthology series for Wonder Woman. I haven't read issue 2 yet, but I really enjoyed issue 1. I'm certainly enjoying these anthology-based issues. Superman Red and Blue is superb. Batman Black and White is always fun. But the Wonder Woman one, as I say, issue 1 was really good, so I'll tuck into 2 and 3 probably back to back. Next one up we have is Barbaric. This is brilliant. This is a title from Vault Comics. I've pre-ordered big on the hardcovers for these that are due out in October, I believe. It's only going to be a 4-issue series from what I understand from Michael Marecki, and it is just so much fun. Speaking of so much fun, we have Chew, C-H-U, not C-H-E-W. We're up to issue 7 of this, and this is John Layman writing and Dan Boltwood on art. What's great about Chew is every individual arc is going to be self-contained. So the trade is available for issues 1 to 5 of this, but starting in issue 6, it was a brand new caper on the high seas that lead to France, and again, just one of the funniest titles on the racks. Next up is Department of Truth, the Eisner-nominated series, and of course, James Tynion took home the Best Writer Eisner this year. So Tynion the fourth writing this, Martin Simmons on art duties, and Aditya Bidikar on colours and lettering as well. So yeah, looks like we're moving into a new conspiracy with this one. We just closed out the Bigfoot arc in the last issue, so we're on to issue 12 now of that. Coming very close to its end and definitely up there with my covers of the week, we have Die number 19. So Die is going to end at issue 20. So Kieran Gillen, Stephanie Hans, Clayton Cowles on lettering. I mean, I don't know what more I can say about Die at this point. Easily one of the best indie titles of the last decade. Rich, brilliant world building, great characters, great dialogue, beautiful art. And it was always going to be 20 issues, so they've stuck to that. And next issue will be the last one. An interesting title up next, which I will hold this way, called Echo Lands. Now, this is from J.H. Williams III. It's actually a landscape book as opposed to your traditional portrait. But what's cool about it is usually when you get comics that sort of are turned sideways, I can remember, for example, a Batman Superman issue during the New 52. It would just be a normal comic bound at the side, and then you had to turn it and then flip it. It was almost like a calendar. But what's cool about this one is the staples are actually in the side, so it opens as is. and I'm really looking forward to digging into that. I don't think I've seen an indie title in the last year or two that creators have been excited about more. I mean, every creator on Twitter, Instagram, so forth was sharing stuff on that, so they usually know what they're talking about. One of the biggest titles this week is definitely Keen's Spawn. So this is the first brand new Spawn ongoing ever since the original Spawn, which of course is up around the 320 mark now. This is a brand new #1, as I say. So this is designed as a jumping on point. If you want to get into Spawn, I have very little knowledge of Spawn. I've never really read the original run, but I'm going to jump into this and Gunslinger Spawn when it launches as well. Definitely one of the biggest titles of the week, that. Next up, we have Mother of Madness. This seemed to divide people. Some people loved it, some people hated it. I really enjoyed it. It's Emilia Clarke, of course, from Game of Thrones on writing, co-writing with Marguerite Bennett, and then it's Layla Lays on art. Even if you're not a huge fan of the content, the art in this is glorious. But I really enjoyed this story. But again, not for everyone. Next up, we have something that is Killing the Children. So we're up to issue 19. Of course, we're going into the past of Erica Slaughter. We're learning more and more about her induction into the House of Slaughter. And again, Tinian on writing duties, where the Della Darren art. Again, I can't really say much more about something as Killing the Children at this point that I haven't said before. Another one of my favourite indie titles, That Texas Blood. So we're up to issue 9 of this. Chris Condon, Jacob Phillips. Already a great, powerful duo, and now we see that Jacob Phillips has launched has announced a brand new title that he's working on with Chip Zdarsky called Newburn, which again is going to go into that detective noir genre. But That Texas Blood, rural noir, superb stuff. On to a little bit of Marvel now. We're up to Alien issue 6, so we're continuing on Phil Kennedy Johnson, Salvador De Rocca. Been really digging what they've been doing with the Alien series. Again, it doesn't seem to be for everyone. There have been a few people in store who have said it's not their cup of tea. But I think they've actually rounded out from the original movies really, really well and made it feel like the same world. A big surprise for me was Amazing Fantasy #1, which was great. Following a trio of stories, following a younger Black Widow, younger Spider-Man, younger Captain America, all being dragged away and moved to somewhere else. But just really adventurous, really, really good art. It's Carrie Andrews, and again, something outside the normal realm of canon for Marvel, which I think is always a good thing. Next up, we have Conan #24. So we have Jim Zub continuing on this, Corey Smith on art. Again, I can't say much more about Conan at this point. It's just brilliant. There's a great hardcover for Conan that covers the first 12 issues, which were written by Jason Aaron at the time. And again, can't recommend it enough. I mean, I was a Conan novice jumping into that, but now I'm a fully fledged convert. Next up, we have the next part of Extreme Carnage, which is part 5, which is Riot. I have to admit, this series hasn't massively grabbed me. But the first 2 issues were brilliant, and then 3 and 4 were okay. But I'm certainly going to stick with it and see where it goes. But yeah, we're on to Riot now, so part 5 of 8. Finally deciding to grace us with its presence is another issue of Non-Stop Spider-Man. So this is still the most ironically named title in the history of comics, because it's got so many fits and stops, and it bursts to life 1 minute and then there's not a new issue for another 3 months. But it is worth it just for the Chris Bacalo artwork. Joe Kelly writing on that. Another one up there in my top 3 most anticipated this week, and also a contender for best cover of the week, and that is Spider-Man Life Story Annual. So Spider-Man Life Story, fantastic story, set a brand new template for Marvel they could use. All the characters aged naturally, every issue was a different decade moving forward, the characters got older, but they touched on a lot of the main stories and sort of famous stories and key stories, I suppose, for how it affected these characters over the year. So we've got the same team back again, Chip Zdarsky, Mark Bagley. Chip actually on covers there as well. And this is just an annual #1. It's going to focus, I believe, on J. Jonah Jameson quite substantially. Next up, we have Strange Academy #12. Again, one of my favourite Marvel titles. I seem to just prefer the Marvel Fringe titles. I'm not a big Amazing Spider-Man guy. I'm not a big Avengers guy. I'm not a big Iron Man guy, as you well know. But give me stuff like Strange Academy, or stuff like Daredevil, or stuff like Amazing Fantasy. Stuff that's sort of around the edges of the Marvel Universe. I just think it's great. So this is Scotty Young writing, Humberto Ramos on art. Says he doesn't read any mainline Marvel titles and then pulls out Thor. But Thor's been brilliant ever since Donny Cates took over. So we're up as far as issue 16. That's a cracking cover there, as Odin basically faces off against Thor himself. And again, Thor is one of Marvel's best titles, I think. A brand new #1 that I don't know an awful lot about. Even the creators are not massively well known to me, which are Ryan Cady and Jan Bazulda, is Winter Guard. but after really enjoying Black Widow, something tells me it's something to do with that. So I'm going to jump in, brand new number 1. I believe it's a 5-issue mini-series, and I'll certainly give number 1 a go. And then the last one, just to finish off with, is a DC title. So it's a Black Label title, oversized, premium plus format, which is for some people, not for others, and it is Superman versus Lubo. Now with Superman versus Lubo, we only had one of the variants left, which is this one, because Simon Bisley, and it's awesome. But you have the main cover done by Mirko Andolfo, and this is a collaboration between writers Tim Seeley and Sarah Beatty. And then, as I say, Mirko Andolfo on art. So should be a lot of fun. Black Label stuff. Get more Lubo in the DC universe. Can't go wrong with that. So yeah, so that's pretty much my pull list for this week. All titles available in store from tomorrow, Wednesday, brand new comic book day. Just another shout out again, this coming Saturday is free comic book day, and there will be more details announced on social media over the next few days. But we're going to open at 9 a.m. We're going to have loads of promotions during the day. We're going to have a raffle at the end of the day. We're going to have all the free comic book titles there, limited stock, you know, while stocks last, of course. We would ask, just as a little bit of housekeeping, just don't be taking doubles of titles, leave them for everyone else. Don't be coming in if you're interested in spec titles and you just want to try and, you know, grab a few and, you know, sell them on or whatever. That's not what Free Comic Book Day is about. It's about introducing new readers. It's about people taking risks on titles they maybe wouldn't normally see. So just treat the day as it should be, instead of embracing in my personal hell of the dark side of the comic industry, the spec industry. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you've seen some titles there maybe you weren't 100% sure on, but maybe I've talked you into it. We shall see. But anyway, I'm going to skedaddle on now. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. I look forward to seeing you in the store both for New Comic Book Day and for Free Comic Book Day. So take it easy.